How many beans make gone? Phases of a lunacy. Phase 1, don't forget the French fries. I was 15 years old when this old guy told me what the truth is. It took him 50 years to find it, he said. I think he sincerely thought he'd be saving me a lot of trouble. An Eskimo boy flensing scallops at the water's edge. An old man paddles up in his ancient kayak, all wizened and withered, so pale and wan and wild-eyed, like he's just seen a ghost. He staggers up onto the shore, collapses in a heap of his old bones. The boy, frozen, helpless, the old man gazing deep into the boy's eyes, like he's still seeing a ghost. Frozen phantoms bonded together in time. Do you know who I am? Do you not recognize who I am? The boy is shaking his head. The old man, looking like he'd like to smile, but he's too afraid he may crack his face open altogether. I was born and raised in this little village till I went to sea. He eerily, wearily raises an arm, points a shriveled, ice-cold finger out to sea, the world, the truth about the world. I've returned to tell you the truth about this world. The truth is, but the boy's vanished. He ran off into the village to get help. By the time he returns with his father, both old man and kayak have vanished. Some fresh ripples in the water, though nothing that could not be explained by a banking ice flow disturbing the water's edge, dissipating into cracks, then retreating back out to sea. The world. But that old man's face haunted the boy, and that shriveled, ice-cold finger pointing out to sea, a world and a truth the boy knew now he would never find in his little village. I'll give you $10 and a bag of French fries if you believe every word I say. Why don't you just tell me what you believe, and if I believe you, I'll give you $10 and a bag of French fries. I'm always looking for something to believe in, but I believe it might be worth more than $10 and a bag of French fries. How about $10 million and 2 bags of French fries? I believe I'd be willing to change my beliefs altogether. At least I believe somebody must be very desperate for me to believe every word they say. Do we have a deal? No? Okay, $5 million and forget the French fries. You can't forget the French fries. Is that what you're telling me? I have to believe I can't forget the French fries? Otherwise, the deal's off. Is this a trick? Only if you believe it is. But I can't forget the money. The check's in the mail. You expect me to believe that? It's the truth. You could be lying. The truth doesn't lie. But only if I don't forget the French fries. What if I can't remember the French fries? Then the deal's off. The check'll be cancelled. Believe me, your life depends on this. Forgetting or not forgetting the French fries? Okay, I've not forgotten the French fries, but you have to forget about the money. What money? How'd you like 'em? Thin and crispy or fat and mushy? According to Albert Einstein, the world is an illusion, but a very persistent illusion. Gloms onto you like a full-bodied leech. You can feel its vibrations manifesting flesh and bone, concrete and steel, securing an empty space. So now it's not an empty space anymore, it is. And it isn't. Doesn't feel like an empty space, doesn't look like an empty space. As soon as you start filling it with all this hallucinatory furniture, drapes and knickknacks, makes it feel really lived in. A home, a factory, an office building, depending if you're at work or cushioned up in your high-rise apartment on the couch watching television. Illusions within illusions within illusions. May the best illusion win. Otherwise, you may finish up very disillusioned. As soon as you start considering reality may not be all it's cracked up to be, may not even be really there, you can either start losing your grip on your grounding or gaining confidence. You can at any moment just disappear quietly into a better mirage. What's the difference between illusion and a dream? If we only imagine we're asleep or awake anyway. Atom splitting, molecular quantum physics. Should we have faith in scientists or whatever dreamed them up in the first place? If they're hallucinating no more or less than I am, why should I give their mirages more credibility than my own? Must be some catch-22 in there somewhere, if they're really nowhere and nobody more or less than I am. Martin Luther King had a dream. He went to the top of the mountain. If he said he had an illusion he went to the top of the mountain, would anybody have listened to him? Could have created a relationship-breaking credibility gap between him and the real world. I mean, if the guy's just another deluded illusionist, somebody must have spiked his coke. Seemed to think he was black when really he was colourless, tasteless and odourless, just like everybody else. Is anybody following me on Facebook? Do I care? Don't you care? Hey, who faced up to it first? Living is a manifested thought process. I navigate my streams of consciousness into some apparent blue lagoon composure with all this wildlife teeming below the surface, challenging that world you might prefer to be experiencing on your surface illusions. Fair enough, may such a spirit be in all of us, not to settle for somebody else's hallucinations. Why would anybody want to do harm to somebody who's not really there any more or less than you are? It makes no eternal sense. You'd just be fucking up your own mirage with bad karma. How is your illusion of yourself doing today? Is it being as offended as mine is by nightmare delusions of sick psychic interference in my peaceful thought processes? If we're all in this nutshell together, maybe we can crack it open and see the truth for what it really is. But one fleeting experience in a cosmic multi-channeling continuum that we no more need to understand than how we got involved in this world in the first place. If it was only to batter each other's fucking brains out on Netflix, I'd say somebody's illusion got off on the wrong foot. And that's going to be no bundle of fun coming down your perceptions pipeline. Could skew your hallucinations and spiral your magnetic field off balance. You'll have to readjust your spiritual gyroscope. If you've ever been to a funeral or a wake, open casket, gazed at the effigy corpse of a past hallucination you once imagined was your Uncle Alan, and compared that to the photograph next to the flowers above the coffin, when Uncle Alan was really a bundle of fun, a couple of drinks at Christmas, all red-nosed radiance, smiles and merriment. Will the real Uncle Alan stand up, please? A picture is worth 1,000 corpses, a miracle of technology worth a few bob at your local hallucinatory Walmarts. Catching such fleeting particularities, full of the joys of spring, even in the middle of winter. Which illusion would you want to take with you into eternity? The solemnly devitalized effigy of the apparently departed, or the bundle of joy, apparently getting a real kick out of his Uncle Alan experience? But at some point, I'm told, we have to face up to reality. No matter how unreal it really is, there's going to be a lot of smoke in your mirrors. And where there's smoke, there's fire in that hole where you imagine your body to be. We need to learn to walk through the flames with equanimity. When everything around us seems to be tipping our scales into suffering and loss and grasping at straws, all these straw men overstuffing themselves with impossibilities and the limitations of eternity. Be in the moment and stick to the plan. What plan? Whose plan? My plan? Your plan? Nobody told me there was a plan. And like an idiot, I believed him, lost my own plots. We have to save for the future. Otherwise, your past will come back to haunt you. You need to buy into the plan. Whose plan? My plan? Your plan? Who the fuck am I talking to? Am I talking to myself? I've got all these voices in my head. Sometimes don't sound like me at all. Am I losing my mind? What profiteth the man who loses his mind and gains somebody else's hallucination? I have a mind to kill for. If only I knew who to kill to get all this imaginary shit out of my head. If nobody's real anyway, I could kill at will and nobody will really die for it. Maybe I should just put them out of my mind. A few drinks at Christmas, a bit of an ease up, whole world lights up. But Christmas comes but once a year. It's in the plan. We gave you a copy. You need to stick to the plan. Am I going around in circles? But you are the circle. You just don't feel like a circle. Mais vrai, mon ami, vous êtes le circle. Le circle êtes-vous. Especially when the circus comes to town. You can laugh at the clowns, but trust me, they're a lot sadder than you think. when the makeup comes off, and the illusion is over, and time heals nothing, only itself. Every moment is a separate moment, every separation a misunderstanding. My Uncle Alan died to save us all. Imagine that, just a bundle of fun, like lightning in a blue sky, fearless and nothing beckoning me beyond. So the young Eskimo man bids farewell to his little village, and he sets off to see the world, to find out the truth of it. He paddles on for days and days, weeks and weeks, months and months, nothing but open sky and ice floes, birds in the air, fish in the sea. So finally he came across this enormous ice house up on the shore. He'd never seen anything like it. He pulled in his kayak and he crawls through the entrance hall, walks for hours and hours down this long ice corridor, which turns into another corridor and another corridor. He walks for days and days, weeks and weeks, months and months, years and years, till eventually he's too weary to walk. So he crawls on for years and years and years, till finally he finds himself back at that same entrance hall. But he's an old man now, a ghost of his former self. With his dying breath, he paddles his kayak back to his little village, an Eskimo boy, flensing scallops at the water's edge. Do you not know who I am? Do you not recognize me? I've returned to tell you the truth, but the boy's vanished. And the old man smiles, his whole being cracks open as the truth spills out into empty space. The world is just an enormous ice house. Is anybody following me on Snapchat? Do I care? Don't you care? Hey, I snapped first.